Hello, ladies. Let's talk through a 5-2 macro split. Before we do that, of course, I'm going to pin this to the top of our Facebook group. Make sure you're there. It's called Macro Tracking and Weightlifting for Women. Macro Tracking and Weightlifting for Women. Okay, beautiful. We are pinned to featured. Okay, what is a 5-2 split? That means that you essentially have 5 lower macro days and 2 higher macro days. Why would we do this, right? There's a couple different reasons. The first reason is if you're struggling with compliance over the weekend, the 5-2 split can be a really effective strategy for you with the right mindset, which I'll talk about. Another person this can be really effective for is, let's say, for example, you really want to grow your glutes. Like there is no glute there and you really, really, really want to grow your glutes or your shoulders, for example. Using a 5-2 split can essentially put more food or more energy around those training days. So if it's your glutes, then your 2 primary glute days, which hopefully you have 3 lower body days, put it on 2. And so you have more food or more fuel for those training sessions. I think for most of you, flatlined macros, which is the same macro 7 days a week, is best. And I will explain why. But the 5-2 split can be a super effective strategy. So I'm going to dive in. I have lots of notes and I'm going to keep it nice and clean instead of tangent. Okay. So I'm mainly going to talk to the woman who's overeating on the weekends. You need help with the weekends, okay? So this is not talking to the woman who wants to specifically grow one muscle. This is for the woman who struggles with compliance over the weekend, okay? So the real issue to the problem is a couple things. Possibly not understanding how to track out and not understanding how to like pre-plan the day, right? So those things are really important. The 5-2 split is not going to fix that, right? It's going to help, but you still need to learn the habit of how do I track out and how can I balance my day? It is possible, okay? You possibly need to change your food quality. So if you have like no calories to go eat out or, whatever you're doing over the weekend, then maybe you need to choose like higher volume foods, right? Like produce. So you feel full, but you're not consuming as many calories. Here's a big one. You possibly need a mindset shift. And my guess is you need this and you need better habits around tracking on the weekends. So here's the thing that I want to challenge you guys a little bit mindset wise is we have to remember that tracking our macros and lifting weights, at least with the Queens of Iron philosophy, it's not something you just do for a time, right? Track macros, yeah, only for a time. But I mean, like you use macros to develop habits. You don't use macros to be a good girl for a little bit, right? And so the intent when learning how to eat out and learning how to go be social and do these things is to learn how to do those things within the parameters of your macros, not to restrict, ladies, but to actually like fine tune your habits, right? Because your current habits have you where you are now. That might be good, that might be bad, right? When you learn to live within the parameters of your macros, you actually learn how to maintain a fit, healthy body without tracking. Will your habits look different in a deficit, in maintenance, and in surplus? You bet. We don't put women in surplus very often at Queens of Iron because we want you to just feel super comfortable and confident year round every single year. So we typically get all the fat off, bring you to maintenance, teach you how to maintain it, continue to build and shape your body in maintenance, and then wean you off macros when you want and when you're ready. So you must be learning the habits around the weekend, right, to actually overcome that problem. Otherwise, it will keep popping up until you actually overcome it. Okay. So I want to use that disclaimer. The 5-2 split will not overcome that. I will talk more about the 5-2 split in just a second. Okay, great. So quick note on intermittent fasting, right? This is why here at Queens of Iron, we don't recommend intermittent fasting when done for fat loss. Because if you're doing it for fat loss, you're using, respectfully, a Band-Aid approach. Not that maybe you're meaning to, but you're restricting yourself So it's like, oh, sorry, I can't go to breakfast with you, or I can't go to dinner with you. It's not in my eating window. Is that a high quality of life? Maybe it is for you, but I don't believe it is, right? And so, does that teach you to eat less? Okay, sure. But it's not actually teaching your habits, it's restricting you. Not ideal, right? We want to learn habits, long term sustainable habits. Okay. So, here is what we can do for the 5-2 split. One more thing before I share that. Here's habits we need to be thinking about and focusing on. Okay. Eating lean meats, veggies, produce, fruit, right? Why do we want fruits and vegetables? Fiber, vitamins, minerals. Those things are good. They also help keep you full so you're not overeating. They give you lots of energy. You just feel super good. Practice tracking your food going out. Is it exactly accurate? No, it's an estimated guess. It's okay. Over track versus under track because it's usually more. And tracking what you think it is much better than tracking nothing, right? Overcome the all or nothing approach if that's you. Be realistic about what you're tracking. Exercise your discipline muscle. And when I say be realistic, I mean, for example, if you go out and you normally eat chips and salsa, you have 2 glasses of wine, and you have an entree, don't be like, oh, I'm not going to drink it all. I'm going to have 2 chips and a salad. Is that realistic for you? Probably not, right? So maybe we can keep doing both of those things, the chips and the wine, and maybe you do get a salad, right? So it's like you can like choose what you want, but you just can't have it all. You know what I mean? Habits. Real quick story, you guys, of what this looks like. I went out with some friends. We went out to eat. We're not used to eating out together, so it's always kind of fun as a trainer and one who takes a lot of interest in people's lifestyle to just learn and sit back. And it also helps me with content. It's exciting to connect with you guys. And it's so funny because we ate out at the same places. Every meal we ate out at the same places, but the amount of calories that I consumed versus what they consumed was radically different. Did they mean to do that? No, they were actually trying to eat healthy, but they just didn't know. So they were packing on calories in places they didn't realize. Cheese, sour cream, condiments, like all these things. Whereas like my meals were still great and eating with them, but they look drastically different. How does that take place? It's from learning habits of living within the parameters of your macros, right? It doesn't happen overnight. You also have to train your mind and your taste buds to start actually liking those foods. Our taste buds renew every 2 weeks. I thought it was 30 days. I looked it up. It's 2 weeks. So we like what we eat. If you don't like vegetables and you choose in your mind to say, I commit to liking vegetables, and you keep saying to yourself, I'm going to like vegetables, and you keep eating them, you will come to like vegetables. I did that with sushi, by the way. I hated seafood. Now I love it. I intentionally did that. Okay, so here's the 5-2 split for women who need help with compliance in the weekend. It's essentially taking a lower so let's say your week of macros is like 100%, right? So here's your week in front of you. You have 100% of the pie, right? So we're going to take away 5 days, and it's going to be a lower percentage of that 100%. So you can have 5 lower days of macros, and then there's 2 days of a higher percentage of that 100%. So you can have higher macros. It depends on the woman, but typically we keep protein about the same. And so on the weekend, they can have more carbs and fat, right? Probably maybe 5% of our clients do this. It's not very much because flatlined macros, the same 7 days a week, is so nice to really learn healthy habits. I'm going to remind you, a 5-2 split is great for women really struggling with weekend compliance because it gives you more food to play on the weekend, right? So it's like, it's meeting you where you're at and allowing you to more slowly change habits around weekends rather than like quickly. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's a great solution if you guys want to try it out. Let me look at the comments because it's messing up I lost streaming access when I'm sorry about that. Okay, great, ladies. All right, I'm gonna just go like that. Cool. Great. So a couple things that I want to add just here on my notes. So the 5-2 split can really help, but be sure your mind's in the right place. This is not an excuse to overeat, right? It's meeting you where you're at with the expectation that in your mindset, you want to grow and change, right? Because creating cycles of under eating and overeating on the weekend. Long term, is that best? No. Is your life super social and you just need more macros on the weekends? Okay, that's fine, right? So just make sure you know why you're there. Okay, great. That's all I have for you, ladies. Let me know any questions. And if you want help dialing in your macros and your lifting program, let us know. You can comment below or send me a message and we'll help you out. Okay, have a great day, ladies. I'll talk to you later.